Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. Today I'm going to be explaining to you guys the market of EVE Online, some basic concepts, how this market system works right here. The reason I'm doing this is because when I started playing EVE Online, I always bought stuff from the market, but I never really understood what the different options mean and what these different numbers mean, because there's a lot of different numbers, the averages, highs and lows. What does it even mean? This is more just a basic concept so you understand how this market works. This is not a tutorial on how to use the market to earn billions of ISK. I'm not the best at that, but I wanted to just get this explained to you. So if you're buying things, just in general buying stuff or doing some small casual trading, then you'll at least sort of understand what these numbers mean to begin with. So if this is for then the complete new bros, the complete new people who are new to the game. This is not really towards people who've been playing for a bit of time, because this is usually going to be coming across as very obvious. But when we go in the market here, we say we want to buy this large incendiary remote shield booster. You've got two options. You've got the sellers and the buyers. So what this means is then we've got people who want to sell this, because here these guys, they want to sell it, and the sell people here, these guys, they want to buy this module. They all want to, these guys want to sell this module. They've got this module, they want to sell it for these prices. These guys, they want to buy this module, they want to buy it for this price. So how I usually have this by default, you can always change this later, but what I usually do is I have this sorted from highest down here to lowest up here. So the lowest will be at the top, and then I have the buyers sorted to the opposite, so I have the highest at the top and then the lowest at the bottom. And the reason is because you can say these guys, they have the module already, they want to sell it, and if I wanted to buy this or like straight away, just buy this, just buy a module. See, I just bought one right now because someone here just sold it to me. They put an order up and then they sold it. Now if I wanted to sell this module, then say I want to sell this module, large ancillary remote shield booster, this one that I've got. If I want to sell it, I'll sell it for less. I'll sell it for 1.8, or like to this 19 million ISK order. That's because this is a buy order. This guy wants to buy it. These guys just want to sell it. They don't want to buy it. So if I were to sell this, it'll be a lot less. You know, see, 2.1 million, 1.8 million, because I have to sell it to these guys here. But if I want, I could also be like these guys and sell it in a way that it takes a bit of time for it to be sold, because I can sell it here and I can choose a few days, and then I can put it in a bigger price. I can do 2.1 and I can say 7.7, put it just a bit under this guy, and then we'll put it up here. So now the thing is, it'll take a bit of time for that to occur. Someone like me would have to come in and buy it, and then they'll buy it, and that'll take a bit of time. If we were to sell it directly for 1.8 million, I'll get that ISK straight away. This will take a bit of time. So it depends. If you want to buy something straight away, you just buy it from here. You see, like I did, I just bought it from here straight away. If you want to sell something, you sell it to these guys, the buyers, straight away. You just sell it like that. You get, if you want stuff straight away, you buy here and sell here. If you want to be more efficient, use your money more effectively, but it will take a lot longer time, then you want to buy stuff through these guys. You'll place buy order 1.820 million ISK. So it'll be just above this guy right here, just above this guy. So if someone wanted to immediately sell it, they'll sell it to me, so I'll get it for 1.8 million. Now I could try to make a profit. If someone does sell it to me, or I buy it for 1.8 million, someone could sell it, and then I get the module for 1.8 million ISK, I could try to sell it for 2.1 million up here. This is all assuming that someone sells me one and someone buys one from me. So this all is a bit more risky and takes a bit more time, but it's a lot more profitable. So if you know what you're doing, this will work out a lot more financially beneficial for you in the long run. And it depends a little bit from item to item. For example, these guys here, I would buy them like just straight away like this, and these cheap modules, quote unquote cheap for me, is 2 million ISK. Something that perhaps you would want to consider doing a buy order like I'm doing here is maybe for something more expensive like a Paladin. But you could see that the differences between buy and sell is not much different. So it could just be okay, it could just be worth the hassle to just buy it straight away. Otherwise I could put like say buy order for 995 million ISK or 996, so I just go above him. And this is all assuming someone sells it to me for that price. And then you could potentially save out on like 50 million ISK. You'll save out on money that way, but it'll obviously take time. You won't get the module straight away, and it's also there's a slight aspect of risk that someone buys it straight away. Okay, so that's how buy orders and sell orders work. Personally, I always like to just buy them straight away, because I don't like to have to babysit orders. In real life, I don't have a lot of free time, so I prefer to just keep an eye on the modules I have rather than the buy and sell orders I have. But I know many people who like to get more for their ISK, and get more ISK for what they have, and they use the sell orders and buy orders in a way that it works that way. But you just think of it like this: these you buy straight away, these you sell straight away. That's why they're lower. Okay, so now I wanted to explain some of these numbers here, because these took a long time for me to understand out what do these even mean, because these numbers can be beneficial into you understanding certain aspects of an item being sold. These numbers are very useful in knowing, okay, will you sell something, will it get sold for that value or will it not get sold? What could be a potential of max and lower and minimum price you could go for? Like, is it unreasonable that I'm selling for this price? Is it reasonable that I'm selling for this price? Then you just look at previous orders that have gone through. This is like a summary of previous orders. So, say we've got the Paladin. You can sort this for date. I want to sort this by date, so it's like the most recent ones. You can see if the most recent ones. Okay, so we see here yesterday the lowest was 981 million ISK, and the average was 1.12 billion, or 1.012 billion, and the highest was 1.048 billion. What you could think of it is it's like this. This is like a combination of the sell and buy orders. So it's not telling you only buy orders, and it's not telling you only sell orders. It's telling you a combination of the two. It's just looking at all the orders that went through. So how many orders went through? Both a sell order and a buy order are considered to be an order. And the lowest order that went through was an order for 981 million ISK. So probably it meant that someone bought this for 981 million ISK yesterday. They bought it for that price. That is possible. So if I were to put a buy order for 981 million ISK, it's not unlikely that it could go through, especially if we look at previous ones as well that went through. You see 979 million, someone went for even lower, 958 million. You can see it varies also over time. It's not like it's going to be the same all the time. It varies. And then if you want to sell it, maybe, see there's a high point. You see someone sold it for like 1.3 billion, 1.28, something like that. So okay, if I'm going to sell it for 1.1 billion, okay, very unlikely it's going to get sold, because no one has ever bought, okay, when it's rare instance someone bought the highest. This is talking about the highest order that we got out of all these ones was 1.8 billion throughout this like whole month. Only a select few have gone for that price. So you're probably not going to get all that order fulfilled. So this is how to get an idea. It takes the combined buy orders and sell orders, and looking at the lowest one, looking at the highest one, and then here average. Yeah, well, it takes the average of the two, so you can sort of get an idea what a reasonable price would be for this module, and what you can sort of expect the just general value of this module. But sometimes these averages can also be slightly misleading, because there could be some, say, a module or an item that's not bought very often, such as this skin. You see average 4 billion, and there's like no orders went through. So it's just taking the most recent one, which was like 4 billion, you see. So it's not always that easy as to just think, oh, look at that, 3.4 billion. That's just taking over like some average here. You have to sort of look at this data and think, oh god, why is it at that price? It's because we saw one order went through for 4 billion over here, one went for 3.3 billion over here. And how often was that? Well, it was just like once every 10 days. So say I had to have this skin, I would sell it. You're not going to expect to get this sold straight away. You're going to expect it to get sold every 10 days, unless you go for some price that is different from these, very drastically low, for example, or you buy it for something that's drastically high, like that's very high. So you can also look at these buy orders and existing buy orders and sell orders, sort of get an idea as well here what's going on. So you see that the buy orders here, the people wanting to buy this skin, I'll go for 2 billion ISK. So if someone who has this skin and wants to immediately sell it, they can get 2 billion ISK straight away. Or say I want to have this skin, I don't want to get it for the cheap, I want to get it on the cheap, so I'll place a buy order for 2 billion ISK. It's quite unlikely that you're going to get that skin unless you wait a long time. You see here, I will go back in time. There's been very few orders. I see a few months back they already had some for 1.3 billion, so maybe then. But now it seems like it's going to be a very long time, if ever you're going to get that buy order fulfilled. So these are sort of just a way to get an idea of what has actually happened in the market recently. So you see, these are orders, how many have been fulfilled, lows and highs and averages. So they sort of give you an idea of how many and what kind of price would be a reasonable price. It's unfortunate that it doesn't give you a select view of the buy orders and sell orders, but it sort of combines them, because you never know. Sometimes buy orders can go higher than the sell orders if it has occurred in a very remote location of space. So when I'm buying stuff and selling stuff, like I said before, I always sort these by lowest to highest, these from highest to lowest. Sometimes when I'm out buying stuff, I can sort by location. Now there's only one location at this station because we're in Jita. But let's say if we were to go for a Gila ship, they're being sold in multiple locations. Some that are a little bit further away. So if we were to go for these guys, they'll be a bit further away, but they're a bit more. Generally speaking, you can see it like this: is that when you're further away from these trade hubs, the more pricier they get, because someone specifically took this item out there and wanted to get it sold, because someone maybe is lazy, they don't want to go to this trade hub, so they'll just buy it there straight away. They're trying to profit off that, like, transportation fee, you could say. So that's why you can sometimes see varying prices, but almost always the best deals are found at these trade hubs, because that's where all the assets are accumulated and where people are competing against each other, sort of driving down the price or driving up the prices. So that's some basics. Sellers want a way you can buy items directly, but for a higher price. Buyers, where you can buy items for a lower price, but takes a bit longer time, or where you can sell items straight away and get less money. And then look at the price history. You see here we have the lowest and highest and average orders that occurred of both buy and sell orders, and seeing how many occurred, how many you can expect to sell, how many you can expect to buy, and see the previous history of what has occurred, and get an idea if it's a reasonable price that you can put for this item. Is it a reasonable price you can buy this item for? So I hope you learned something new. That's a brief overview of the market of EVE Online. It really is one of the most lively aspects of this game, because it feels like a really big economy. Many games out there have markets that are owned by players, but none of them, in my opinion, feel as alive as EVE Online, just because of how many people use this. So it's so competitive and there's so much stuff going on that it feels almost like I'm just buying it from an item or selling an item to like NPCs, but it's actually real players, almost always real players. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something new. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.